Hey guys, this is Mr. A. Krizzy here, and in today's movie review, this is going to be an animated movie review on the 2011 animated film from Touchstone Pictures, and it's also based on the play by William Shakespeare called Romeo and Juliet, but this one's actually an animated version of the play itself, but this one's actually a Garden Gnome version, and that's going to be on Gnomeo and Juliet. So, Gnomeo and Juliet is an animated version of William Shakespeare's play Romeo and Juliet. And so, in this movie, Gnomeo and Juliet, in Stratford-upon-Avon, the birthplace of William Shakespeare, Miss Capulet and Mr. Montague feud over whose garden is the better. Garden gnomes that decorate each neighbor's flower beds continue the rivalry when the humans aren't looking, and gnomes from the red gardens don't get along with those of the blue gardens. Then Gnomeo, a blue, and Juliet, a red, fall in love, leaving many to overcome. And so, yeah. So that's the story of Gnomeo and Juliet. So, what do I think of it? I do remember watching this movie, a long time ago. I watched it with my parents a long time ago. And it's kind of an underrated, decent movie. It is a decent movie in my opinion, but it's also underrated when you think about it. Because I remember this movie first came out in 2011, which was pretty much 10 years ago, and Gnomeo and Juliet is kind of it plays out as an animated Garden Gnome version of Romeo and Juliet, since it's based on the play. It's kind of inspired by the play Romeo and Juliet by William Shakespeare, and I gotta admit, it does have a good voice acting cast. The voice acting itself is pretty good. James McAvoy plays Gnomeo, and Emily Blunt plays Juliet, and I thought they both did a good job. And Ashley Jensen plays a frog in this film named Nanette, and Jason Statham was actually in this film too. Jason Statham plays Tybalt, and there's also Michael Caine, and yeah, and pretty much the one scene I remember most about this film is definitely the internet infomercial, of course. It's for this little lawn mowing, this little machine called the Terraforminator. The Terraforminator voice announcer was actually played by Hulk Hogan. Yeah, that's right. Hulk Hogan actually plays the Terraforminator announcer. The voice of the Terraforminator announcer, promoting this little giant lawn mowing machine that not only mows but also clears and digs. Hulk Hogan's voice there. Yeah. Because that's one thing I remember most about Gnomeo and Juliet, the Terraforminator commercial on the internet. And but then the lady didn't really feel like buying the Terraforminator since it costed a lot of money, so she bought the Kitten Clipper instead. The Kitten Clipper, which is a lawnmower in the shape of a kitten, like a cat. And of course, Gnomeo and Juliet does have a pretty good soundtrack too, because most of the songs in Gnomeo and Juliet were actually performed by Elton John. Because this movie was also made by Elton John's company, Rocket Pictures. I bet that was probably named after one of Elton John's songs, Rocket Man. And this movie was also directed by Kelly Asbury. And Kelly Asbury, who's also known for directing Spirit, Styling the Cimarron, and he died last year in 2020. Rest in peace, Kelly Asbury. Oh yeah, and of course, the back of the DVD here says not only it stars James McAvoy, Emily Blunt, it also stars Michael Caine, Maggie Smith, Jason Statham, Patrick Stewart, Ashley Jensen, Stephen Merchant, Matt Lucas, Jim Cummings, Julie Walters, Richard Wilson, and Ozzy Osbourne. That's cool. Dolly Parton and Hulk Hogan. Yeah, like I said, Hulk Hogan. And the music score was composed by James Newton Howard, and yeah. Oh, yeah, see, and of course, Kelly Asbury is also known for directing Shrek 2 as well. Here's the disc for Gnomeo and Juliet. It's also pretty interesting how the first Gnomeo and Juliet film was made by Touchstone Pictures, which used to be a Disney company. But then in 2018, a sequel came out called Sherlock Gnomes, which I heard it was really bad, since Johnny Depp was in that film, Sherlock Gnomes, and I kind of didn't really think Gnomeo and Juliet really needed a sequel in the first place. Gnomeo and Juliet, a sequel called Sherlock Gnomes, featuring Johnny Depp as the voice of Sherlock Gnomes, and plus, one difference about the sequel is that is that Sherlock Gnomes is actually not made. It's not made by Touchstone Pictures, unlike the first one, because I think it's probably due to the box office disappointment of Strange Magic that came out in 2015. And I'm guessing Touchstone Pictures was filing through bankruptcy. They were running out of money. And so the sequel, Sherlock Gnomes, was actually made by Paramount Animation, and MGM. And of course, Sherlock Gnomes was also known to be Paramount Animation's first movie to be completely computer animated, because the other two films had live action in them. Yeah, I think I got that right. Yeah, SpongeBob movie, Sponge Out of Water, and Monster Trucks, because those two other films from Paramount Animation had live action in it. But still, I still didn't think Gnomeo and Juliet really needed a sequel in the first place. Like Sherlock Gnomes, I only recommend the first Gnomeo and Juliet film, since this movie is a decent film. It's pretty decent, but it's also very underrated when you think about it, because like because there's a lot of these animated films that nobody really talks about much, but Gnomeo and Juliet, I think, is one of them, like the first one. And it does have and like I said, it does have a good soundtrack by Elton John, a good voice cast, and the animation itself at the time, it was pretty good. Yeah. So overall, Gnomeo and Juliet is a decent, underrated animated film from 2011 made by Touchstone Pictures, and I'm gonna give Gnomeo and Juliet 4 out of 5 stars. Yep, that's my best rating, 4 out of 5. So, if you haven't seen Gnomeo and Juliet yet, then I say give this movie a watch. Yeah, because like I said, I only recommend this film, not Sherlock Gnomes. So there you have it, guys. That's gonna be it for my movie review that's gonna be it for my movie review on Gnomeo and Juliet, and that's gonna be it for this video. So make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. And as always, thanks for watching. And until next time, this is Mr. A. Crizzy saying goodbye, everybody, and that's about it.